and she don't want me to tell anything because I'm very enthusiastic about her competencies, and to give you the possibility to have her as a explainer, let's say that, of the accommodation industry. We are still 24, so maybe we can start. Kathy, would you like to start, or
I'm fine.
Wait.
I'm okay.
So
I welcome everybody first, and I hope that this moment find you well and your family. I really do hope so. We're in lockdown in Italy now. It's red, and it's a tough moment, but isn't it amazing that we can get in touch with these distances? Is a pleasure. It's very nice moment. I do thank you, Borghi Autentici Italia, which is an amazing, very good project. And I'm very proud to be here these 3 hours to share something with you. And Andrionette, thank you very much for hosting me, and Daniela Campora, that I don't want her to say something amazing about me, because there's no expectation, too much expectation. Okay. So indeed, welcome. And I heard voices, but I didn't understand. Okay. So I saw that there are very beautiful places connected today, from Slovenia, Bosnia, Greece, Centric Macedonia, Ope is there, beautiful, and Emilia-Romagna, and Albania, Chypria, Hrvatska, Croatia. So welcome everybody. I think that we can start now. This is me. My name is Katie Giombini. I'm Italian. I've been working many years in hospitality industry, with mainly with international chains. My background is university studies and economics backgrounds, and I have some masters and professional courses for instance, in Cornell and Ithaca, New York. I am an expertise in operation, means in managing hotels, restaurants, and similar accommodations. I'm an expertise in branding, because I've been working all my professional lives with big brand chains. I've been in charge for this change for training development. So I've been trained thousands of people in different subjects in hospitality and marketing issues. I made myself some business projects and in this industry, and be consultants in it. And I've been doing, because it's too much for me now, universities lecturers in marketing, mainly in marketing and branding. I'm an expertise in pricing, mainly, which is something important. So welcome everybody. This is the name of the module, if I got it correctly. And the timing will be 3 hours, and I've been told that I can give you a break. I don't know, I think about it. Okay. So so in 3 hours, I have this purpose to give you key points that will enable you to better know the accommodation scenario. In 3 hours, I can just open windows to show you the accommodation scenario, in order for you to be an active and effective actor in your future task of territorial mediator. So we will focus in accommodations, and the topics will be security. But you see, I want you to make it very clear that talking about security, normally you will find, or you probably have this kind of scenario in the place where you work, guidelines. Securities means guidelines, and you can find guidelines easily everywhere from your local authority, etc. We go through this, but what I want you to make, to me, that is very important to pass to you today, is to really understand the value of human behavior about security, you know, emotionally, rationally. You will see that it's very, very important to understand, deeply understand this. So we'll go through the hospitality and security, the accommodation and COVID, and the role of accommodation in rural scenario, in social scenario, because as we saw, you in this project, you are focused in social cohesion pretty much. So because it's an, I want you to make sure that you understand it emotionally and rationally, I will ask you to join me in a very, very, very short journey itinerary. In order to do that, please, I welcome you in the TARDIS blue box. I don't know how young you are, but I'm sure that you came across the Doctor Who TARDIS as a British TV series. Very well. I do hope so. So I would like you to trust me and follow me in this very, very short itinerary of a journey. We just get into the blue box that Doctor Who used to travel time and space. And I would like you to take note in your local language, your language, because we will not share this note, and try to write down what you feel, what you hear, what you see, you know, using your senses. So I get up into the TARDIS with you, and I asked the TARDIS to bring me somewhere because I really want to go far away from here. So the first place is this one. Well, actually, probably is not the place I wanted to visit, actually. And what do you feel? Can you smell something? I give you some minutes, some few seconds actually to write it down something, you know. There's no right answer. It's just a question to solicitate your senses. There's no right answer. So I think I'm going back into TARDIS, and I say, listen, this is really not the place I was thinking about. Can you please move somewhere else? Okay, so we jump together in, and this is the next place that TARDIS bring me to. For me, it's my point of view. As I said, there's no right answer. From my point of view, that's a little bit better. And again, I'm asking you what you feel. Can you listen? Something? Noises? Well, to me, there is a path compared to the previous one. There is a path. So there's some human being around. For instance, what I came up in my mind, I don't know yours, but in my mind, if I think that I will soon get hungry, starving, probably I don't have to bother to go and search some wild mushroom, because this path suggests me that I can find a place where to find something to eat. Just write down what you think. And I said to TARDIS, listen, this is better, but this is not really the place I want it to be. So get back and ask the TARDIS to go somewhere else. Voila. Oh, this is for me much better, much better. You know, I hope some days I will visit the beautiful Dubrovnik in Croatia. What do you feel? Can you smell the salty water? or you prefer to listen to the noisy of the people here, probably chatting, having a drink, or the sound of the birds around. And I said to my TARDIS, oh, that's much better for me. For me, definitely is much better. But now I feel that I maybe I need to go somewhere to rest a little bit, having something to eat, going to the toilet. Why not? So get back to the TARDIS and ask to find a place where I can have a rest. Oops. Well, actually, I was expecting something different. I don't know. What do you feel? Will you go for that? Yeah, maybe yes. There's no right answer. I would rather prefer going somewhere else. TARDIS, please. I think you're not working very well today. Okay, a little bit better, but probably, for instance, for me, this place even smells very bad, but don't know. So listen, TARDIS, can you please find me something better? Honestly, you did a good job. I prefer something else. Oh, much better. Much, much better. For me, yeah, there's no. So I hope you had really the chance to write some down. And this is the end of our journey. I don't know if you can see these slides probably. Can you see it probably? Because in sharing, I'm losing some pieces. So this journey, these trips, wanted to motivate you to emotionally, use your 5 senses. You cannot touch, but you can imagine to touch. Sights, smell, taste. I wanted you to be prepared to understand really deeply the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think that seeing your curricula, that probably you can cross this Maslow's hierarchy of needs or pyramids. I don't know the way you called it. And probably you know that, but this is a theory of human motivation that is going back time in 1943. So it's very old. It's a paper that Maslow wrote in Psychological Review, 1943. And since then, of course, all the people that were using the human behavior motivations changed the Maslow hierarchies a lot, trying to use different tools. And probably I came across people that said to me, you know, the Maslow hierarchies is not so modern. Come on, 1943. But for me, working in accommodation so many years, still today, I think is very, very important tools to go through the real understanding of the motivation of tourist people, of the people that living, basically. So the hierarchy described the pattern through which human motivation generally move, and it became clear later on. In order for motivation to rise at the next stage, each stage must be satisfied. This is the rule. Human behavior is the potential express capacity, it can be mentally, physically, and socially, of human individuals or groups to respond to internal and external stimuli throughout the entire life. Behavior is not personality. This must be very clear. Personality is what you are. Behavior is what you do. Personality, innate characteristics, is something you're born with, is a mix or combination of genetic and environmental factors, and include emotion, cognitions, and behavior, and evolve through a combination, as I said, of genetic and environmental factors. Just to make you understand pretty well the difference between personality and behavior, just think to a very easy things, which is the extrovert. The personality of extroverts, as a tourist, as a human being, behave differently than an introvert. An extrovert will behave meeting people, being with people, asking to be with people, and introverts, at the contrary, will not do that. Personality is not behavior. The behavior of human falls upon a spectrum of social norms. Now, this is very important. In tourism, you ask people from all over the world with different social norms. So it's very important to understand that. We are not doing a course in psychological today. Don't get scared. The human behavior is studied by psychological, sociological guy, anthropologists, but also economics and marketing. So the study of human behavior without becoming an anthropologist, but it's very, very important for all the people that work with people. So let's go through the Maslow hierarchy of needs step by step. Try to understand the rule. The rule is that in order for motivation to arise at the next stage, each stage must be satisfied. It's very clear, Maslow, but I think I'll get very clear for you as well. As ourselves, as human being, before being motivated to arise at the next stage, we have to really satisfy the second stage. At the first stage, Maslow put the physiological needs. You are starving. You are in a desert and you get thirsty. You need a rest. You collapsing. You're so tired. You collapsing. Or you need to go to the loo. Or you're so cold that you need a place that can warm you. But you can agree with Maslow, not just with me, that in order to move the next stage, if you are in a desert, let's take this example, the maximum example. If you are in a desert and you dine for a glass of water, you don't think to anything else. You're not motivated to do anything else, just thirsty. You dine, you're starving. So what motivates your action is the fulfill this need, full stop, period, nothing else, that's it. Once you have satisfied this, then you are motivated to look around you and see if you're secure. Am I secure? You are in the desert, you have your glass of water. Am I secure here? Secure means health speaking, environmental speaking, your belongings, your shelter, shadow. If you die because you need a glass of water, you're not thinking about a shadow in the desert. You first want your glass of water and then the shadow. Is that clear? These two steps are the very, very basic of the human being needs. And if they're not satisfied, you don't think to go up there. Of course, in an economics and in a society like West society, it's so we give it for granted that these stages are guaranteed, are fulfilled. It's not that much for a traveler sometimes. So once you have fulfilled these needs, only after that you feel the need to be with people, you know, like this, to be here, to meet people, for instance. Only when you fulfill these two basic, you starting to have, this is just friends, not only lovers, of course, you know, meet friends, feel the sense of connection. And when you have fulfilled all of this, and only when you have fulfilled that, you start to feel the need to recognition, to be seen. Hi guys, I now fulfill the needs to stay together in a group of people, but now I want to be seen as me with my peculiarity. I want you to see me with my peculiarity, with my etc. But only if you fulfill the bottom of this pyramid, you can be there. And at the very top, there is the self-development. But the motivation to be here arrive only if you fulfill that. Okay, so for instance, the self-development, which picture would you associate to the self-development? You know, the number 1, the 2, there's no right answer, the 3, the 4. For me, for instance, can be this one, you know, for me, coping with this scenario and try to get through, to stay here a few hours or one day, well, yes, probably I will self-develop my sense of, develop my spatial surviving skills, you know. But after the 2 stages, now from this step to others, of course, the condition of growth are very, very important, you know. For instance, just to give you an example, the sense of connection for an Italian guy may be for sure being in a football arena with friends, seeing a football game. For me, maybe being at a movie or a concert, you know. From here up there, we will find different types of behavior to satisfy these needs. But honestly, these first 2 at the bottom, it's there's not that much. You're looking for something to eat, whatever. I wonder if is enough clear what I said to you so far. It becomes much more clear, you know, later on. But I wonder if you have any questions about it. Okay. I don't know if there's a chat I should look at. Probably not.
I look at the chat and maybe tell you if there are messages. Elisas from her iPhone says very clear. Okay.
Thank
and
you.
Before Ioannis suggests that he was thinking at Game of Thrones, looking at a photo. So I could help you to go through the chat.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's an honor for me that what's the name of this gentleman, this guy?
Ioannis.
Okay, that was no, it's amazing, because this is put everybody spot on what we want to be, you know, in the tourist in the industry of journey, itinerary, traveling. Good. So let's carry on. So whatever, when we talk about accommodation and health and safety, whatever is an hotel or an apartment in a house or a bed and breakfast, health and safety in accommodations are going to satisfy the basic needs, safety and physiological. So please get that, catch this, because it's very, very important. Health and safety, the safety basic needs in accommodation. And we used to say in the 80s in Italy, marketing in the 80s was feed the need, you know, feed the need, satisfy the basic needs. I am a language nerd, so I cannot stop myself just making you notice that in English, feed and need is the same words with a different initial. But I am a language nerd, so just a problem. So this is why I wanted to reach this point. You know, I wanted you to really feel emotionally and rationally where the needs of health and life security comes from. And accommodation is very important. When we talk about health and life safety in accommodation, in hotel manager, we talk about fire, bomb. I've been working in United Kingdom, and I had myself many bomb scare in my hotel, terrorism, first aid, pandemic, food and beverage safeties. So all of this, last but not least, the workplace safety for people working in it. All of this now, I guess, for you is very clear that they are feeding and fulfill this stage of human being needs. And are very important. I'll get back again to this point, but about fire, bomb, terrorism, about all this health and safety issue, you will find in with your local authority, local trade companies, association, I mean, a lot of guidelines, you know. I didn't want to spend these 3 hours going through guidelines that you can find everywhere in the internet, local, I will give you an idea where to collect them, you know. I wanted you to understand why it's so important. And I'm repeating, but it's so important because they feed the needs, the very basic human being needs. I don't know you, but as a hotel manager, just imagine have a smaller resort with 5 rooms, and in 5 rooms you may have 5 couples, or a family with children, so more than 10 persons sleeping in your building. You know, I'm a hotel manager. I've been working in hotel with thousands of people, you know, with 900 rooms. Just imagine. So I don't know you, but me, if I don't have all the guidelines in place, if I'm not sure that first of all the health and life safety are in place, I feel like that when I'm going to sleep night. It may be an emergency, medical emergency, fire emergency, whatever, police emergency, because when you accommodate people, you accommodate many type of person. It can be a health, local authority, workplace safety emergency. Okay, so let's say that also the health and safety has these 2 double phases importance, no, versus guests and versus social value versus the workplace, the persons that work with you. So versus human being, all the human being that is working in accommodation reality. So guests and people, staff. So now you are pretty comfortable to understand that the health and safety with its guidelines are very important in the quality of accommodation. You know, where did you get this information from, these guidelines from? Very easy. Local regulation that normally is based on national government in regulation. So you have Italy that ratified from European Union regulation, ratified the norms, the regulations, create the guidelines, and then the local took it, and also the trade associations put these guidelines normally, also branded guidelines. Just things that trade association guidelines, the very top of the pyramids is the European Union, then the national government. Normally in these guidelines going down the pyramid, then do not put less norms in it, less guidelines, less bullet points. They put more. Just think about the Borghi Autentici, for instance, I guess, you know, in their accommodation or in their project, I guess that they have looked to the Italian regulation, the local regulation, but also I'm sure because they linked with responsible tourists, they put more in the guidelines in order to be more appealing, in order to have more quality. So it's difficult that you in trade association guidelines all the branded. For branded, I mean it's the brand, for instance, Borghi Autentici guidelines, you will find more than a national regulation. It's not legal, you know. Those norms has to be there. So you put more to give more quality. I want you to go through an important guidelines in this health and life safety scenario. The food and beverage, you know, just small go through. Hope everyone are okay. Daniela, if you see the chat, if there's any question, problems, please let me know. Thank you.
Everything's right. No questions at the moment. I think they will come after.
which is not a good news. Probably there's they left or they're sleeping.
No, I don't think so.
So nowadays about food, which is a very, very important asset in hospitality industry, the farm to table product, locally sourced products, 0 mile products, whatever you want to call it, you know, in terms of health and safety, create some critical point, you know, some hazards, because of there's no more the guy that produce milk just under our restaurants, you know. There's advanced technology on it, it's high speed operation, a large scale of incoming materials, you know. So all these steps cause hazards for the product safety. These hazards can hardly be controlled by just attentive and scrupulous staff. So, as a matter of fact, that even if you have an attentive, scrupulous staff, they are doing waiter, they are serving people, they are doing chef, they're not just focused on hazards in food and safety control, you know. So what is normally in place as per European community is the HACCP system. I wonder if you ever heard about it, if some of you have been working in F&B, restaurants. Never heard.
Katy, in the meantime, yeah? Matilda from Klaus Municipality wrote, "We are here and we are listening you very careful."
Thank you.
So I thought, thank you very much. So Katy, do not feels alone talking, because this is what we have, where we can be in presence. So we already know.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed because this means that they listen and they understood what I said. My basic needs are not feeling alone and not contacted with the community with this message has been satisfied. Thank you. So carry on.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So these ladies is very good in feeding the needs. So hazard analysis of critical control points. As I say, I don't know if you have worked in hospitality, in F&B, this is very important in total quality system. The HACCP system. This is the system that every coffee bar, every restaurant in your location, in your European community, even if you have, for instance, a meeting room with one of those dispenser for water, where you have the glass of water, you put in the dispenser and you take the water. This machine has a filter. This machine uses the water, so has to be chemically controlled if the water is drinkable or not, if the filter, so even if in this small scenario, an HACCP system must be in place for European community. So, okay, so you can imagine that in food and beverage, the critical point may be everywhere, since when you have animals that you grow up, when you just take meals or vegetables or eggs, just imagine how much work is just in the production. And then you have to refrigerate, and then you have to put in boxes. A recent European community regulation make it some norms, very guidelines, very clear about the type of boxes. Even the paper you use every day in your kitchen, the transparent ones, the transparent foil that you use, or aluminium foil. Now the European community, if you have a restaurant, you have to be sure to buy the right one with the European community specification that is good for food. And then you have to transport these food. Imagine, and then arrive at the restaurant, for instance, or at the bed and breakfast for the breakfast, and then you have to refrigerate, and then you got different way to cook it, and a lot of critical points without even putting the people actions as a critical point, So in order to have this final output, by the way, this is something that I serve in my restaurants in this takeaways time, unfortunately. Well, I want an applause because as Italian, I haven't put there a spaghetti. Anyway, so in order to have this output without killing guests consuming this, there's a lot to think about.
Katy?
See?
I want to tell you that Mariana, that is, she's from Central Macedonia, has written that she's been working for 15 years in hotel hospitality. So she said, I completely understand your speaking.
Perfect. And probably Mariana knows that in order to have these safe plates, don't worry, it's very easy. You just have to solve these easy problems. No, don't worry. Kidding. Of course, don't get scared of what I'm saying to you, because it's not you or the persons that own a restaurant, that own the B&B apartments that have to think about all of this. There are companies mainly managed by biologists that help you in this step. They may cost more or less. There are, for instance, some industry organization, that trade associations that can help you to go through this, But just to let you arrive the message of how important it is. Just if you want to know a little bit more, just take in your mind that there are, for a good HACCP, 7 principles. I can go through that very quickly, you know, because this is not the place to do an HACCP course. Anyway, there is, of course, when you have open a restaurant, a coffee bar, or a breakfast for B&B, you just have a team focused, maybe just 1 person, 2 persons, but someone that is focused on an hazard of, you know, and this is a very important point, because just think that we all together want to open a restaurant. With the HACCP, with the critical importance in our mind, we can decide how our restaurants can be. This is too hazardous, too expensive. So no, we don't do that. We do different things. We offer a different product, okay, things like that. In the second point, of course, is just identify the critical points. I give you an example very easy. And a critical point is the temperature of the food. So you just identify the temperature of the food as a critical point, and many others is depend of the kind of product you want to deliver. And also the biologists, of course, will tell you that there is some limits of the temperature. You know, if the temperature, if this food arrive in the temperature that is between a range, it's okay. Otherwise, throw it away or get back to the suppliers. I'm doing it very, very simply, because it's a tough job. And Marianna said, whoever worked on it knows that it's an hard job. Okay. And then you have to monitor and procedure. So if you take the temperature, you also have to write it down. Okay. And then you have to decide who's responsible and when take the temperature, who take the temperature, when, where to write it, etc. And then put in place corrective action. Who, how many? And the 6th, the verification. Verification is everything that is not monitoring, you know, so the review, the instrument calibration, and then the paper. All this point, all this action became paper. And you described the flow diagrams, etc. But don't get scared. A biologist do that for you. So it's so important, and I summarized it for you. It's only important for you to have an idea of what to ask. I just give you one information. It probably is redundant, but if happens to you that you contact a company that give you HACCP consultancies, be sure that you have in mind your procedure, what you have to do, because these guys, biologists, from my experience, they want to show you that I know a lot, and I wanted to give more and more, and I want to write a paper, guidelines, an HACCP manual like this, you know. And once you write something in the manuals, you have to do that. In Italy, it's like that. So if you put something that is the biologists that like to be there and not the legal regulation, tell the biologists to take it out. Don't do more. Do the minimum in the manuals. And then you can do more. But in the manuals, that is the first things that the local security organization in Italy is the ASL, is the local health organization ask when entering your restaurants, and to say, where's the manual of HACCP? Be sure that is very strict to the regulation, no more. Because if you put in more, they want it in place. Just a folkloristic information, okay? So in terms of social cohesion, the HACCP does not stand alone. If you, as you understood, as you see, it's a very complicated, but you can do it. Everybody can do it. So it's just a matter of habit, you know. But if you are restaurants, I take a restaurant, it's easy for me. If you are a restaurant, managing the restaurants, and you apply the HACCP, is a hard job if the entire manufacturing practices that you have around is not doing that. So the HACCP is an important pushing point in terms of social cohesion project. It's a social cohesion project itself, you know, going through sanitation standard operating process, etc. Okay, this is a link that you can use in European Community Food and Safety, where you can find a lot of, about HACCP. Okay, so based on the Maslow hierarchies and talking about food, what does quality means in this scenario for you? Which of these photos, which of these pictures would you associate the word quality with? You know, is that quality for you? Is that quality? Which one? Can you just have to press a number, not right? So I make it easier. I wonder if you want to say something.
The first number is 1. 1. 1. One. At the moment, 1 is the winner.
Okay, the question was a little bit tricky, of course.
All of them, Mariana says.
Good.
She's the experienced one.
No, well, I just want you to, before replying the question, to think about the field needs. Yeah, field needs. So Mariana was right, actually, because if you find yourself in the stage where you're just starving, I'm thirsty, I'm so thirsty, I can drink a lake, you know, I don't bother who's, you know, I just have a coins, I go to this machine and that's it for me. Give me a bottle of water, you know. So it's a tricky because of the word's quality, you know, but was good for me to be tricky to help to understand things better. I don't want to mess you up, okay? I don't want it to be nasty with you, just a little bit tricky. If you are in the status, in the stage that you want to feel connection, you know, that you feel that your need is a connection, so you probably go in the number 2. You don't even know what they're going to give you to eat or to drink. You just want to stay with people. So this is what you're looking for. If you are with your friends and you want to see how much money you've done in your life, or just because you want to fulfill the sense of status recognition, you know, number 1 is the right answer. Are you with me? Even those that put 1 on it have been tricky too. Okay, for instance, as I said, the guy number 2 do not even care, probably, do not even care what is in the plates. Is that cheese, ham? I want to stay with Fran, you know. Sometimes it's a common thing that you say when we were friends. Can we see each other one day? Yes, having a dinner. It doesn't matter if it's a pizza or a pasta, just stay together. Never happened to you? Yeah, it doesn't matter, pizza, pasta, or just stay together. It's important things, you know. This is the number 2, much more. In the number 1, we may decide to go there because that these restaurants have an amazing cheese, a cheese that has been done by this farmer, you know, and so I want to taste it. You know, it's a journey. This cheese means something. So you now able with this example to understand that in food, there is some tangible, it's food, and the intangible, you know, because that cheese, just as an example, of course, normally this is it's much more in wine, above all in Italy, no? But this cheese got something ancient story, you know. It's a storytelling itself that you deliver, you not just deliver. So this is why in number one, you're not satisfying your starvingness. If you're starving, you go for 3. And believe me, many years, I've been working many years in F&B, in hospitality, in hotels industry. If nowadays you ask a manager, hotel manager, a restaurant manager, a chef, I do it continuously. Now, what do you serve? What do you associate the quality? Why? If you ask a simple question, why customers, why people enter in your restaurant? Believe me, a huge percentage of them do not know. They say because they are hungry. If they're hungry, they go in number 3. So understand that how is important that you understand the human being needs. It's very important because you can understand there is something intangible in the thing that you put on the plate. Intangible asset, the cheese, the story of that cheese is an intangible asset. And in restaurants, there is another important intangible asset. The human being, the employee, is an important intangible asset. This lady is doing a coffee probably. She's not just doing a coffee, she's doing something else. Do you want to try to write something down? I'll go through. I probably have something more in your mind if you want to share.
Mariana says, sorry to interrupt you, she smiles.
So with a smile, she gives. She's reassuring. So she's actually also with the smile, she's feeding the very basic human being needs. She listens, she sees, she do it properly because you want a good coffee. She solves problems during the job. She do it fast. In Italy, we call it espresso coffee. She do it fast. And many other things. She give information, like local guide. She represents the local culture with a smile, for instance. Do you have something more to suggest me? So she communicates things. So is
Katy, wait, she offers quality services, said Ioannis.
This is a very important is because do it properly. This is go through the very important meaning of quality. So was a very good point that the quality, what does quality means? Is like in the previous scenario we saw now. Is quality just a good coffee? What is inside this mug? It's not a mug. Cup. No, exactly. Good. It's the quality is not just inside this cup. Is all together what she's doing. No, she can tell the customer that this cake is made with the special nuts coming from, you know, she's a storytelling. So all together this thing, listen, see, do it properly. It's quality. Good. Very good. I wonder if there's some questions or everything is clear. Okay. So we talk about security in, mainly in food and beverage. Let's start talking about the health and safety in accommodation. No? So in guest rooms and or not only guest rooms. Okay, so before COVID, I'm sorry, it sounds a little bit blasphemous before C, but it's COVID. Before COVID, in hotel, I put it we because I'm working in a hotel. Before COVID, we cleaned and sanitized. We clean room. We clean spaces. After COVID, we clean and sanitized. See, when COVID started, I had my friends coming to me, oh, Kati, you have so many people in hotel, no guest rooms to clean, COVID, oh my God. And I said, listen, honestly, it doesn't change a lot for me. You know, we clean and we sanitize. That's it. Honestly, above all in food and beverage health issue, you have to be much more worried about bacteria like salmonella. You know, salmonella escherichia coli that is under your shoes. The COVID is something. If you put an egg in a shell on a table, the bacteria of salmonella live and reproduce themselves, becoming millions. If you put something contaminated by COVID on a table, it will die if there's no human being to feed it. So in food and beverage, you don't have to be scared about a virus, but much more about bacteria. And in rooms, there's the Legionella bacteria pneumonia, no? Legionella is a pneumonia, bacterial though, and you have to be much more aware about this. So we clean, we sanitize, and then we clean and we sanitize. What's the difference? Before COVID, we did not tell our guests that we checking in. No? The guests arrive, check in, you give the key, you take the money, you say, oh, sorry, by the way, the room is cleaned. It looks a little bit suspicious. What do you think? If you arrive in a hotel and someone says, oh, by the way, the room is clean. Well, I feel a little bit suspicious. Say, maybe I made the wrong choice. Remember the basic needs, security in health way, you know. So the very basic Maslow pyramids and my needs of security, if someone say something like that, a little bit. So this is one point that is also difficult for an hotel manager to motivate your maids in housekeeping, people cleaning the room, because at the reception desk, if the ladies or the guy at the reception desk give a very nice welcome, the guest, the client, it says, it's noticed that it was a very warm welcome and beautiful, but when entering the room, they expect it to be clean. They expect to be clean. So if they enter in a room and they find it clean, they do not jump on the corridor of the hotel, jump out of the apartment screaming, oh, it's so clean, because they expect it. This is what they wanted, they paid for. So a little bit frustrated for a maid that did the job properly, that nobody's screaming and shouting, how clean is this? On the contrary, if they find one black hair in the toilet or in the linen, bed linen, they will use the telephone immediately to talk to the manager. You understand the difference of expectation? This is a good example of expectation. So after, on the contrary, we create a storytelling on how the room is clean and sanitized. We tell the world, you know, be sure that you come in our hotel because we are so clean and sanitized. We do it in every rooms, So this is mainly the difference in communication, because it touches the basic needs of security. This is why it's so important, again and again and again. As I said, I was giving you the example at reception, no? With COVID, the welcome. When you talk about welcome, it's associated to the open, to the word open. In Italy, not only in Italian, even in English, we use open arms. I don't know in your culture, in your language, you know. I invite you and I wait for you, open arms. I asked you, open arms. There is also a famous ONG going in our Mediterranean Sea rescuing people named Open Arms. I don't know if you ever heard about it. So open arms. Of course, with COVID now, this is a hotel where I work with, there is a plexiglass, you know, so you associate close, everything closed down by plexiglass or something similar. So in housekeeping, the maids put their mask on now. This is the difference, which is even much more quality to the work they're doing. No, it's even much more sanitized, much more secure. But in reception, now you have to put a mask on. Open, there is a plexiglass and another close. So mainly before COVID and after COVID, what are we really losing in welcoming communication? Can you tell me something? What have been losing? I help you with this. This is an Italian emoji. No?
The first approach, says Elisa from her phone, the first approach with the client. Yes, the through moment, we call it, Kathy, no? Right?
And this is a very true moment, the very first approach, you know. How do you communicate? How do you communicate what you feel?
Also, Mariana suggests the warm welcome. Yes.
And how do you pass, which communication pass this through welcome? Oops, what's that?
Okay.
I don't know what that came from. So the through welcome.
Sorry, that sounds difficult. She says Elisa with the difficult emoji, the one with the tear on the front. Yes.
It's a difficult emoji for you, yeah. Is now in the standard emoji. Is
Mattea says a smile. What we lose, yes.
Is that for Italian means what? What is an Italian emoji? And yes, and smile is what? What is it in communication? Smile has a name in the science of communication. Smile in the science of communication is body language. So I don't know how to get rid of this, but okay. So this, the smile. So what have been losing in welcome communication? The body language, the body language. What? It's clear, is it? No? So this is the difficult point in terms of quality of welcome, that with the words, you have to do the most efforts.
Yes, Mariana, sorry, Katy, before entering the words, Mariana also suggests we try with the eyes to substitute the smile, and Elisa asks, how can you show to someone that you're smiling with your body? With eyes, said Tina, and Maya also said, with eyes, your eyes smile when you smile. Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct, yes.
That's correct.
But
I think that in our Mediterranean country, you know, we have this in common, that in Mediterranean countries, I've been working a lot with Anglo-Saxon people. And the first thing they said is, I've been trained to welcome. I've been trained. They have training for everything, even for welcome. You know, that for an Italian, for me, it was quite weird, you know, because in Mediterranean country, we use a lot of body language. They are trained to say, good morning, how may I help you? Meaning, I'm here to help you. In Mediterranean country, in Italy, we just say, hello. And you pass physically. I think even in the small screen that you can see my face, my small face, you can understand the difference, you know? Good morning, how may I help you? Hi, hello. Even saying the word welcome.
oh. Tina says, great, Tina. Body language of the employees, you would like this, Katy. Body language of the employees is very often connected with the salary.
Spot on. You anticipated probably 10 slides. Good. I just try to, no. I was trying to understand how can read of this red, can you see this red line? So it's just me that see this red line. I'm sorry, I don't know where it came from. Anyway. So.
It's an artistic slide, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. No. It seems impossible to get rid of them. Okay. Yeah, so Daniela, remind me there's important information about the salary. Yeah? So the words now do the most efforts. And this is mean a lot because words, it was a song, no, words don't come easy. It's true, because communication is not just the language that you know. You will agree with me, no? I'm sure that whoever is listening to this module, this to this model, yes, that has boyfriends or girlfriends that comes from a different languages. I know that they can understand the real meaning of the words. The words that can mean something to you, translating, but from the interlocutor means something else. So all the force now with COVID era in hospitality industry, all the force goes to words. And again, remember when you use words, when you talk to someone, remember again the Maslow hierarchies of needs. Because, well, of course, I suggest you really in your life to be a permanent training in communication. And I'm not talking about languages, you know, what is behind the communication. You can imagine that when a guest wants to complain, for instance, about something, you want to be recognized, respect, want to fulfill the status. So words are different. It depends on which needs you are going to fulfill in at that moment to that human being. That can be your staff or your clients. You fulfill, just I want to make me clear, you fulfill, satisfy the needs of a toilet with a toilet. You fulfill the starvingness need with food. Easy peasy. But there are other needs of your clients, not just in accommodation, that you cannot fulfill with things. So you will do it with words. It's not so easy because, as I said, communication learning is a learning that goes through all your life. It's not just a course that you take. And I want to go through against the communication, but before I'm telling you what I want you to need, remember that all the issue in health and safety go through guidelines, local guidelines in everywhere. So you look at the regulations, create lists based on the regulation, understand your operating, try to understand how to apply an operation, and this is the point you can decide to cut that operation, you know, in order to satisfy the law, and that you put in place procedures, okay? But caution, because the standard of operation, this does create a lot of paper in all the area, medical. So you have a lobby of an hotel like this, or a room, or a museum, and this is linked to the communication we were talking about previously, because words, the right words to satisfy that needs is complicated, it's difficult. It's really a difficult skills. Talk. It's not just language, it's communicate. Do not delegate to paper the communication. This is what happened in accommodation, in hospitality industry, that you delegate understand this word, you delegate to the paper the communication. Nevertheless, as a matter of fact, that you delegate the communication nowadays is just don't do that, don't do that. So it's difficult itself. Nevertheless, COVID, it has a great opportunity to build awareness of local security and professionality. Nowadays, I think it's very clear for you that a guest will easily choose the accommodation reserved that give you more, sorry, they give you more secure, they give more the idea of security, you know, that will feed the need of security again. Okay. So to sum up, this is the name of the module. We've been through the security value, human behavior. I'm trusting you get that well. The hospitality and security, and the accommodation and COVID. Now, if you're okay, I can suggest to have here the 10 minutes for a break. If you want to, if you have any questions, something, I'm here to reply to you. Enjoy your coffee.
Thank you.
It's the basic needs. It is a very spot on how now you're going to satisfy the basic need, probably toilet and something to drink.
Thank you. So at 11, is it? Yes. Okay. Admir says, thank you.
Welcome. So every time you go to have a minute breaks, you will think about Maslow now. Okay.
Okay. See you later.
10 minutes. Just wait a few minutes. I don't see Campora, for instance. Hello, everybody. How was your coffee?
Elisa wrote, I'm going to have a coffee with Maslow.
Yes. I don't even know if he's was a nice guy or not, but for sure he wrote this a very, very important article that for me, as an accommodation player, changed definitely my life.
Anyway, Kathy, if you want, I think we can start.
Okay. So welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoy your your coffee. So I will. I had the purpose to talk about you as a mediator at the end of the presentation, but I think that the reason why I didn't get guidelines when you talk about security, as I said it before, when you talk about security, most of the time you talk about guidelines, you know. But as a mediator, I don't think that you really need to go through these guidelines that you can collect in many places in your location. My purpose was to be sure that you that when you go to the stakeholders, you know what you're talking about this matter. You know probably not the guidelines, but I would like to think about you as the person that will be able to say to that stakeholders in front of you why it's so important. And if necessary, where to go and collect informations. You know, you have to be the guy that knows why it's important. I don't know if you agree with this. Okay. Let's ask.
Katie, I think that's very important because although the territorial mediators do not have to run an hotel or something like this, but their role is to know as much as they can about, and also to have a competence to talk with someone who already has an accommodation, or also as they are supposed to help people to cooperate together, to talk and give some information and understanding to those who will open an accommodation later in a small village, for example. I only want to point this out. Thank you.
Good, good. I'm happy that this is what was my purpose when I prepared this these slides. As I said a few slides ago, I met a lot of stakeholders in accommodation, whether hotel manager, B&B manager, apartment rooms manager, chef, maître, the restaurant, that when you they have they know their guidelines by heart, but they don't have an idea of what they're there for. It's because it's the local regulation that told us. No? Okay. So it's the second part. Let's ask ourselves, what role has an accommodation player? As for the other things, I will show you some important point of view that came up in my mind and in my years of experience in accommodation. But feel free to write down your notes, your suggestion, and see together as well your point of view. You know better than I do your village, your stakeholders. With these slides coming next, I want you as a mediator to truly understand who's the guy in front of you. Why is so important if you are doing this project that unfortunately I don't know very well, but as much as I could read about it, it seems really amazing. So I want to be sure that you understand who's the guy in front of you, the stakeholders you're talking to, who's that guy. So role on a accommodation player. First one, the easy one, create local offer. The guy that is own these small, big resorts, maybe just one room resorts, it's very important because as far as my experience, not only in Italy, but also in some places in Europe, I've been working for big chains. So I have experience, I've seen these things. It's the guy that is inside here has to sell the room, that go outside. Do not stay only inside to organize the housekeeping or the inside operation. It's got to sell the room. So it's go outside and see the existing in F&B, in food production, discover new opportunity, create new approaches. For instance, sorry to make you waiting. I just in the meantime, you can think about it and write something down. Okay, so it's very easy, to understand that this guy go to try to discover the guy that produce a good wine, or probably a special grapes. They say, why you do wine with these special grapes? These grapes is so amazing that you can sell as a grapes. So they push to create new offer. They discover new craftsperson. They discover lots of tradition. They can even invent. In Italy, we're very good in inventing tradition, but this is what we do. And remember that young people are the future, but the old guys have ancient secrets and know how they can be transformed in your treasure. Listen to them. So, role of create the offers. What else? Just bullet point. I'll give you just bullet point. Transform the environment. The guy that the stakeholders that own or want to build or own something existing and want to change it. It's very important with their decisions in terms of landscape, in terms of policies in wasting, recycling, in green energy, in demand new facilities, and so on. So it's very important in creating the environment. What else? Is an info point. This is so important. It's important in a huge city, and it's much more important in small villages. It's very important. I can share with you my experience in touring during winter, 2016 Winter Olympic Games. We were working in the players in hotels and every kind of accommodation resort. We were so upset. We were very sad, frustrated, upset, because the local society, the authorities left everything on our shoulders. We were tourist information. We were problem solving, believe me, in any kind of problem, because people are far away from home. They need things, the most not imaginable things. And it's you. It's a listening point, like a bar. Sometimes who've been working in reception might tell you that I spend hours just listening to people talking their life. And this is another thing that is very important for me. It's not only, I put the word passive and active, because it's not only passive, giving information, problems, but it's also active in the sense that as a mediator, as a people that are dealing with action plan, I suppose you will try to do some sort of action plans, I don't know, or program something, or you will probably need to look for informations. Well, accommodations, it's an important point where they measure and they benchmark things, which is something very useful to make choices. You know, they take note not only of arrival and departure, they take note of where these people come from. It's the first place that measure and benchmarking. So it's very important. The other point, promoter of new economies. They push the indotto, they push the linked product and services, you know, from the farmer producing food to any kind of product or services. If your village is close to lakes, the shops that sell things to go to the lakes area to swim, to diving, I don't know, you know, so it's linked with other services. A work on a scale economies. And even from my experience, above all in small villages, a small area, they are developing, they can push and change even the loan system. I'm talking about banks. Very important. What else? They are taxpayer. Your stakeholders are taxpayer. So they demand new facilities. They push to be new cultural and a sport infrastructure or whatever infrastructure you need, train station, airport. Push to develop new services. They do. What else? Promote welfare. And then we back to the ladies asking for salary. Okay. Say staff safe and motivated must be the priority in accommodation. People working in accommodation work in hospitality. In economics, we are in economics words, we are the industry, we are hospitality industry. That does mean something, no? Because if you think a guy arriving in a lot of stakeholders, manager, as I said, do not know that when someone arrived in your village, they probably, the first person they met probably is a taxi driver that bring this guy to your accommodation resorts, or the petrol guy, the petrol station. But the first hospitality given is in a B&B, in a and a smaller resort, doesn't matter how big it is, maybe just one room. You own one room, you do hospitality. And it's the first hospitality approach that I see. Someone before saying the first approach. Well, this is, the accommodation gives the first approach in hospitality. Happy workers are not just better professional, are better citizens, because they do not see the tourist as an enemy, but as a temporary citizens, as beautifully you call it. Temporary is someone that is sharing temporary, the same value and well-being, not the same value in terms of culture, because they came in from another culture, but the well-being that you're able to create, yes. So there is another important thing that I wanted to say. Oh yes, that came up in my mind, sorry. I'm not 18 anymore. So what else to say? Yes, it's important because for you, mediator, it has to be very clear that the stakeholders that own an accommodation things or want to build an accommodation thing, it has to be very clear, all these things. And above all, to be very clear that the guy that decide to commit itself in hospitality, the first things that actually this guy does is train people in hospitalities. Accommodation is the place where first train people to be hospitality. Yeah. And also ask for more government programs. In hospitality works a lot of women. I do understand the problem. Women, in order to work, need to have a lot of services. And this industry, let's call it this way for a second, the accommodation industry can push for, in terms of wellness, not only in terms of more infrastructure to bring more people, can really ask for more government programs in order to be able to offer more jobs. What else? This is a sad one, but it exists in accommodation. No? In every kind of environmental disasters or pandemic disaster, an accommodation resource is the first place that local authorities use as a rescue shelter. What else? This is last but not least, local heritage itself. It's very important. I can make an important, a very easy, not important, a very easy example. I think most of you have seen the 4 Weddings and a Funeral movie. A lot of those locations are and were hotels. By the way, the hotels, the chain I was working with, were hotels. What else? I think being in, I think to Paradores in Spain. I don't know if you heard about Paradores. Or in Italy, a lot of bed and breakfast in Tuscany, for instance. So they local heritage itself. They are local venue center. A small village in a small area, you don't need to create another big structure to ruin the landscape. You can use your accommodation buildings to host some venues and link these venues with some F&B event. Yes. Creation, conservation of asset, which is linked to the local heritage. Jobs. It's very important in order to retain population. And last but not least, the hospitality, the role of the hospitality.
Kathy, before going, I would like to tell you that Admir, that works in the tourist info center in Varej, wrote, probably when you talk about the accommodation info point center, this note. From the experience I've gained so far, the best offer of accommodation in the countryside is when the host includes guests in activities, daily life, and hires a guide to visit the attraction and other residents of the village. It's very interesting, I think.
Yes.
Also for his work and his experience in a tourist info center.
Yes, it's important because when someone arrives in your room, if you are just renting a room or in your reception or whatever, the first thing they ask is, where's the info center? But this receptionist, for receptionist, I mean the guy that welcome, that is doing the reception, you know, even if you as the owner of that one and only room, you give the very first information. And yes, it's right, because what Amir said means that it underlined that the guy arrived in your accommodation resort is not there just to sleep. Is there for doing a lot of other things. So responsibility to bring the meaning of hospitality in society. We are trained to be hospitality. So we have this responsibility to bring the meaning of hospitality in society. Hospitality that is not such, if it's not authentic. Now you can write, you can read a lot of marketing books in hospitality. You can read a lot of meaning of authenticity. If you ask people working in a different scenario, doing different things, if you ask what is authentic in your job, in what you do, and you will receive millions of answers. So I'm sharing my point of view in many years in hospitality, many years. I want to imagine myself, I always imagine the feeling that you have when you ask someone in your place, when you said to friends, come visit me. And finally, this friend is there with you knocking at your door. So for me, authenticity in hospitality is when you feel really happy to host you here in my place. And when you have a friend in your place, you say, come on, get out, I show you, and I share with you what is beautiful and good, my lake, my monuments, my food. I mean, I'm happy when I host friends. I don't do that much because I want to be happy longer. But, you know, how happy you feel. Let's go out, I'll show you something. You know, showing how proud I am of my peculiarity. In Italy, we do that. In Italy, in my location, we have this food that you don't have. How happy to know yours. This is what you do when you ask the friends, you know, tell me about it. I tell you mine. Just sharing. Enjoy this as a life experience. Learn and teach. this is the meaning for me of authentic in hospitality. How happy I am, how happy to host you. So remember that the welcome, remember to your stakeholders when they talk to you about technology, which is very important. The technology things they want to do, please promise me that you will remember them, that the welcome can only be human, that it means in every language moving towards someone. Welcome in hospitality industry is an ability, it's an art job, requests a lot of skills. And now we again back to the ladies that was talking about a salary. This is a sad issue because in Europe or in Italy, since 50s, 50 years, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, we did not have national contract in hospitality. And when we had a national contract, the salary has been set very, very low for two reasons. Because they said you earn a lot of tips that are not taxed. It's not like this anymore, but the salary remained low. And the second is because everybody thinks that you don't need a skill to do this job. Wrong. So the battle that all together we have to do, if you want to change the approach, is that we have to take in mind, spread the word that we have a lot of skills, even if we're not paid that much. It's sad, but it's true. It's an hard job and requires a lot of skill. Skill that deeply works on our personality. Have you ever think about it? Because when you repair a car, broken car, you probably need to have the right things to put it together. But welcoming people, talking, the words, communication we were talking about, are working in our personalities and taking count the rules. What I'm talking about rules, can a receptionist give the room for free? No, because otherwise your stockholder, the entrepreneur, the owner, the manager will fail. So how a beautiful welcome, how do you rate the quality of this amazing welcome? Come, I'll give you my room for free. Oh, well, good welcome, probably the best, but is not working in economics scenario. So you have to be welcome, but we have to follow some basic rules in economics. You understand why you have request a lot of skills? I want to share something that a lot of you, probably a lot of your stakeholders will not agree with. But for me, giving hospitality is do not make your host, your guests feel like at home. For me, Because from my experience, my point of view, a very low percentage of people arriving in accommodation resort want to feel like at home. They want because they would rather prefer have their toilet. They're very good, their toilet. They built up the way they want. You know, the shower they desire. They probably don't have that shower or whatever. No, but people are leaving their home because they want to feel something different, live different, experience something different. I think it's the last thing they want to do. From my point of view, my experience is that they don't want to feel like at home. They want to feel secure as per Maslow hierarchy. They want to feel secure, but not like at home. This is my point of view. As a matter of fact, culturally speaking, a lot of Italians, and even in Europe, I don't know you, people of my age, over 50, over 50, people of my age has been grown up with mother saying, this is not an hotel. You know, this is an house, not an hotel. So probably the reason why I'm doing this job, probably because I wanted to escape from that, thinking that in a hotel is a paradise of do whatever you want. It's not like this. It's full of rules. Someone disagree deeply with this? Maybe. This is my point of view. So be sure when you talk to your stakeholder that say, I want guy feel like home. Try to say, what if? Try to see from another angle. A stranger is always a fragile human being. A traveler want to be honors. Hey, I'm here visiting your village. What an honor for you, isn't it? But at the same time, reserved and protected. There are some anthropological studies that clearly said that when a guest enter in, I give the example of an hotel, but of course it's the same for even a small area. No, just think a bed and breakfast that have a garden, you know. So when the guests enter, it feels really confused. It's like learning a new language. The same feeling. Where am I going to go? Is that direction correct? The other, where's the entrance? Where's the toilet? Where's the restaurants? A guy that enter in these situations got to learn again a lot of things, directions, the language the direction is on. Have you, some of you ever been in Japan? Interesting. They have boxes instead of words. Believe me, you will feel this fragility in full. Only when the human needs are understood, it is possible to move from courteous relationship to authentic relationship. So my purpose, my aim, my hope is that these informations can be useful for you when you talk to stakeholders. Stakeholders, they say, I talk about technology, yes, good, but you know, you can give ideas, you can give some informations about the skills. You can show them that there's a lot of skills to do this job. So you see, when we ask ourselves what role as an accommodation player is the center, l'ombelico del mondo is the center, the crossroad, a lot of things that can change the value of the village. Do you have something to add to this list that I put down? There is another one, very, very, very important. Very important. Anyone?
I'll give our friends to a little time to make reflection, maybe to ask a question or suggest something about their experience in the village where they would operate. I think this is a real interesting and very contemporary vision that Kate gave us, because it suggests that this is much more than giving the key to someone to let him sleep in a room. This is also a reason I always ask myself, because with Airbnb arrival, with Airbnb arrival, everyone thinks, okay, I can be, I can play my job in the accommodation. And that's why, the reason why this happened, it was because many people do not understand the kind of skills that make the difference between an accommodation like this and only to give the keys to someone to sleep, you know. And this way of describing the accommodation players, the accommodation role, if you reflect about this, it's quite the same as we talk about the authentic village. So there is a complete encounter between the accommodation and between the village. What you should do in the village should help people do. And so for me, this is the most interesting thing. And I hope maybe you have some question on or would like to get in deeper about this as soon as we have Katie ready to answer in this moment. Okay, only to say this because I think it's very interesting. And as Katie said, many more also of the professional working in the accommodation, they do not know that this is their complete role. In the next, our next meeting, I will try to tell you a little case history of one person in one village that made all this alone. So if you have questions, you're welcome. Thank you, Katy, only to say something about your work.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. The other things that is very important is this one. You are in the village, and maybe that the first storytelling, the first information that reach your potential customer far away from your village is the website of these accommodation resorts. So through their website, it may be the first shelf where the customer can pick up your village as a product. It's very important information. It may be the image that your potential customer received. Very important. Anything else? Any other idea?
Yes.
That I
Yes, there are two suggestions, very interesting. The first one from Tina, that says important are also availability of the accommodation player, his her knowledge, willing to help, making his her guest important, not just a number in his her accommodation, hotel or B&B. And also Mariana suggests, I also believe that an accommodation player is actually an ambassador of the area.
That's it, yes. Is an ambassador through the communication, for instance, here in the website. It's an ambassador, as we were saying, because is being trained in hospitality. Is an ambassador because is taking care of the info point. Was it this the idea that you have of the role of the accommodation player, the one that is in this slide, or did you imagine it was so important? You know, and in terms of availability, yes, of course, if you want to develop your area, you need to have stakeholders that are able to host people. If you want to make your area a place to visit, the basic needs, sleep, eat. So, of course, you need availability, but don't get stuck or frustrated in the amount of the rooms available, you know, see the bigger scenario. I mean, the right number of rooms available, the right numbers of room available is the number that is fit in your action plan. It's not 1, 2, 300 millions. It's the one that is fit in your vision of the development of the area. Is that okay for you? Are you happy with his view? But it is. I mean, is the issue of the millennium, the beginning of this millennium, the over-tourism, isn't it? Yeah? So when you think about or you talk about with your stakeholders, whatever they with accommodation stakeholders or not, which is the right numbers of guest rooms available? It depends. Is that okay? And you know why the players in accommodation, why the accommodation guys are so pushy? No, they go outside to find new food, new storytelling about food. They go outside to stop the first guy they found. Are you a craft person? No, I'm not able to do anything. Well, I need you to do something because I have rooms to fill up. So they willing and almost able to push, because at the end of the day, they have to do the budget. They have to pay the bill. This is why the guys are so pushing, you know. The landscape is not pushing. You cannot go to the landscape and say, come on, be more beautiful, because we want to develop this area. but whoever decide to do business in that village, in the development, they will be very pushing. This is good point for you as a mediator, you know, because you know that they have something you don't have as a mediator, but they do have behind on their shoulders something that they have to push. They're willing and able to, because they have to pay the bill at the end of the day. So as we said, accommodation in the economics is the hospitality industry. Okay. Accommodation is an important part of the engine that shape the destination in different way, socially, tangible or intangible. It's an important tool to create local identity. This is my, I wanted to share this with you from my heart, that I've of my life very happily. I'm happy to work with chains. My survivals in terms of food and sleep came from hotel change, you know. But from high heart that you'll follow in this amazing project, beautiful project, don't get vampirized by big change brands like this is very important. I've seen in hospitality industry project, you know, we are local, not international. That's why we are authentically good. I give it for free.
Katy,
See.
I have a question for you. Maybe you could help give us some ideas about this. Because during the last meeting, we had some questions about how to involve youth people, okay, in their village to do something. What do you think about youth people and accommodation, about, I said also from a philosophical point of view, but because as you know, in Italy, the original idea of services, it was correlated not to a job to be proud about, for example, the housekeeping, or also the waiters. We know there's a lot of skills to be a good waiter or to be a good receptionist, but how to make this for interesting for young people, to help them understand that could be a very interesting job. We had to understand how to do this about the villages and, for example, to create routes, itineraries or something else. But from the accommodation, if I would like to tell for guys, okay, let's do an association and build your accommodation, okay? Maybe there's a local monument, a local heritage place, as you told before, that we can use, how to help them to understand this sector. It's a difficult question. Yes, yes.
As you probably know, I didn't write not only training module on it, I even write a book about it. Well, it's
Katy, only a minute, because as I was thinking about young people, Ivan thinks about the oldest one. It's very beautiful, because he said, it is difficult to convince some older accommodation owners that hospitality is important, but we see by the number of guests who of them is hospitable and who is not. So
this is another windows, the rules. This is another windows. This is the windows of, is the customers always right? I go straight to the point. No. But you, with these two questions, you open a lot of windows. So there are young people first. So in there are two ways. The first is the desperate one, I call it. In
sorry, I did not understand. The first is
the desperation. So the first, yes. So this is what I said previously. Nobody knows, nobody understands that host people in economics frame. So the rules of economics, no? Can I give room for free? Easy, no. It communicate, it's a very tough job, and it's professionally speaking, it has to be very professional. Now, in some, for me as Italians, I'm very sad because in Italy, if you start work as a waiter, young guy as a waiter, because you don't like to study, you want to go to study, it means that you will reach the pension scheme doing the waiter. There's no really much rooms to get higher, to develop yourself. And develop yourself, you know, is a basic needs. So if you don't fulfill a basic needs, it means that you get frustrated. So what happened in Anglo-Saxons community, young people go to do waitering things or receptionists in order to earn money for your university study. So they're not frustrating because they know they will become something else in the future. So you do that job. There is a wide problem. This is my idea. The reason we've been talking with Danielle as well sometimes, so it happened that we've been traveling together with friends or for business purposes. So the reason why when you go to London, for instance, you know, and you see these guys working in restaurants, so happy, so smart, so, you know, first of all, they've been trained to, yes, training, it works. You have to train people to be professional in this business. So in this scenario, Anglo-Saxon scenario, they are happy they trained, but they're happy because they know that they're there because they need money, but they're happy because they're building a different future. If this is not possible, like in Italy, for instance, not always possible, it's easy. You have to train people. That's it. You have to train. You have to tell people the value that have for you as a manager, as an owner, as a stakeholder. You have to tell them how important is their job. You have to explain them. When I explain to I said to you that I've been trained thousands of people in hotels. I was there, a young lady, woman, in front of many different types of people. And in this classroom, I had people coming. Why? Because the general manager told them to do. Just imagine how happy they were to listen to me talking about the importance of hospitality. What you had to do is to make sure that as an owner first, as a manager of these people first, you do tell these people how important. If you remember when we were talking about, by the way, the room is clean, do you remember that? I said, this is the most frustrating moment for a manager because it's difficult to motivate your maid, to make your maid be aware how important they are. They are there doing a tough job, cleaning somebody else's dirt, and they are there and they are taking care of the reason why that building exists. Give rooms to guests. Communication is very important. This, I normally say that I would like that every people, instead of doing military experience, in Italy we have the military forces that was obliged, I don't know how to say that, you know, since when was it, many years ago, was still obliged that a young male in Italy had to do the military forces training. And I kept saying, instead of doing that, everybody should do a small part of their life in hospitality industry. Because as I said in other slides, words work in your personality. Welcome people work inside yourself. You have to put in play a lot of your fragility when you interact with people. You're not adjusting a car, a silent broken car. You interact with people, you interact with manager, you interact with people that have a basic needs to fulfill, such as going to the toilet, and at the same exact time, there is your manager that has to fulfill the status needs and want him to reply immediately. I said him, sorry. It means something to you? I just don't want to go through this because the most of the time is a main manager that is more pushing in this way. Kidding, but this is the ways that my experience says. Okay, so you're doing at the same time, you are fulfilling different needs, and all are important. All are important. So your questions are very difficult because it's a tough scenarios you're working in hospitality and accommodation. This is why it's not, as a manager, I'm talking about myself, it's not finished when you finish your economics university. It's a whole life training. This is why you keep doing learning. And communication, talking about staff, is the main. I'll give you an example. Your communication with your staff cannot be judging communication, not with your guests, but not with your staff. When you have a staff that always arrive late, always late, it was okay, and now started arriving late. Is a skill to learn the non-judging communication and meet this guy and say, you're always late. This is not right from my point of view, my interpretation of the role of manager. The right thing is, George, yesterday you were 10 minutes late. The day before, you were 1 hour late. This is a fact. I'm not judging, I'm telling you the fact. And my need of security as a general manager, my basic need of security to rely in you because the breakfast opened at 7 is not fulfilled. What's going on? Oh, general manager, I'm sorry, but I'm having problem with my wife and I have to bring my children every morning at school. Ah, good. I'm sorry. I hope everything is going to get better soon. What if you change the rota? Instead of doing breakfast, you do lunch or dinner? Would be better for you? Yes. It's easy. But a lot of general manager would get stuck to the point to be judging as a not good staff. You happy as a manager because you will not have this problem anymore. He's happy or she's happy because you solved the problem. You could, sometimes you cannot, you know, there's always a solution. Both happy. And because it's a basic needs of being visible, I'm a visible general manager, I'm having this problem. Can you see me or I'm invisible to your eyes? Believe me that at that point, when you are very attentive to fulfill these needs, the amount of the pay slip at the very first moment is not the main issue. It's being visible. So there's no need to retain young people. Don't be scared if you cannot retain young people. It's good that that you change and you have always you mean you have new fresh people doing this job. Don't get scared of do not retain people in your industry. It's normal. People come, people go. Be sure that you have happy people. Even if they stay 1 week, 2 weeks. How happy people? Salary is important, not always. Be sure they're visible. Be sure that when a rude guest, they exist, arrive and say something very bad to your staff, you are there to say to your guest, you're not welcome. This is not the place that satisfy your needs. Please feel free to go somewhere else. In my experience myself, I had this many general managers that in front of rude people, blaming me. I haven't done anything. Don't get scared of people coming and going in your industry, whatever industry it is. But be sure they're happy and well-trained. So probably I forgot some, or probably I didn't reply properly, Daniela, tell me, or I forgot some questions. I don't know, it's a very tough issue, this one. Yeah.
No, but the consideration that Ivan does also is that from the number that intrigues me, is that from the number of guests, you can understand who is hospitable and who is not.
Ah, sure, yeah, yeah. Yes, definitely, definitely. I can give you thousands of examples, beautiful hotels with services and things that are empty and prefer to come and go to another hotels because they're nice people there. They make them feel guests welcome. Yes, definitely. A lot of exclusive hotel with snobbish receptionists are empty. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. For me, it's fine. I hope also for Ivan, or if he has some, it's okay for Ivan. He said yes. And okay, let's go ahead if you want.
And also, I would like to end with all the people, you know. Yes, they are treasures as well. They may be very, very skilled and be an example for the young. Don't judge. The welcome is a human quality. We are not doing sports. We are not going to the, we don't have to choose in our staff who's to send to Olympic Games. So judge the quality of the capacity of being hospitality, not the age. Done already. Any others?
I don't think at the moment. Not at the moment. I don't think so.
So, of course, accommodation is like any other product, you know. And as you know, the marketing mix got the product, the price, the place, you know, the P. But I think as a mediator, was not the purpose of this project. Just give you, make you in the position, I think, not to know the accommodation industry and all the things related to, but to have a good idea of the final goal. You have something to say, Daniela? Some question? Your microphone is not on. Your microphone is
okay.
Not...
Yes. Okay. Admir says, I'm glad to hear this story, but I rather have the accommodation owner hear this.
Accommodation owner?
Hear this, to hear this story.
Okay.
And I wrote to him, you're right, but I think you will be great. Inbox of the correction is terrible. That you will be great doing this, telling them this story in your own words. No?
But I want to say something to Amir, is that right?
Admir?
Amir, I want to say something to you. Ivan, if I did it, remember correctly, said that you can see how good is the hospitality in an hotel, in an accommodation, counting the numbers of the people, the guests going there. Is the same for employees. No, I know it's tough. I know there's not many jobs, but the capacity to retain a good owner or a manager, you know, you can value how good is this owner or manager in doing its job, apart from the economical part of the managing an industry, you know. If he or she is able to retain employee, and the more you're good in retaining employee, the more time you have to well training them, and the more you will be the hotels that Ivan was talking about. Okay, you stay with this nasty guy for a while, the time that you will be able to find another job, and then you say bye. And it's not easy to manage an industry with many employees saying bye every week or every month or every. So this owner is not listening to us. As a mediator, you may, what if, explain, but you have the power to say bye. I know it's tough, I know, because it's not easy to find another job, but anyway, it's, remember the Ivan example, huh? This owner not treating well the staff probably have less number of guests than the others. This is our revenge.
And also, would I like to say, maybe this could be a motivation to make him change. For example, in some of my experience, I don't know if I could, the example of others was much more significant for people, because they stay on their position. Okay, I always do like this and I don't want to change. But if they look at other experience that simply gain more money, maybe they would like to change something. I was clear what I said? Oh, Admir? Admir, join owners should hear this not to make mistake for them, maybe small mistake, but for guests big, not to make, if I understand correctly, not to make big mistakes with the guests.
Yeah, it's a communication. It's a communication. I can give you another example. I don't know if we run out of time, but another example is Maslow. Always remember Maslow. A guy arrived at my reception desk years ago and was complaining. And my staff called me saying, Miss Giombini, there is someone that wants to talk to the manager. And this lady was, this receptionist was frustrated and said, I said, but Miss Giombini, I really follow what I know about managing complaint. I did all my best. And I said to her, don't worry, you've done all the best, but this guy needs to feel the needs of status. He doesn't even know that Miss Giombini is the manager. And this is the kind of guy that when saw the manager arriving, a woman, believe me, he was looking with his eyes behind my shoulder to expect the male manager. So was shivering, was shocked like this. Oh, is that the manager? No, I want to talk to the manager. And when he was talking to me, he started to say, I've been traveling all my life. They are the worst, by the way. I've been traveling all my life. I've been visiting millions of hotels. And it was a few years ago, not 10 years ago. This is the first time that I've been asking to pay before even using the service. I want to pay at the end. Now, by the way, at the reception desk with the guest, you deal in a contract. At the telephone with the guest, you doing a contract. Is that clear, guys? So when someone arrives at the hotels, is there any room available? Yes, the room is that. The price is that. And we ask for payment in advance. This is the rule of a contract. You don't want to accept this rule, you go in another place that may better meet your needs. This is our rule. If you want the key, You have to accept the rules. It's a contract, like any other contract. Is that clear? So I said to this guy, oh, Mr. whatever, I don't remember. Thank you for being here. Well, I'm surprised that you say that, because if you've been traveling so much, if you've been traveling so much, you for sure have paid before using the airplane, before using the train. And for sure you paid before seeing a movie. And in a lot of places in Italy, you pay before taking your espresso coffee. So I'm really surprised that with your experience, you haven't taken in consideration that yes, you do pay in advance. Airplane, train. So understand, it's very tough. You have to take in consideration, not taking consideration my face now that I'm kidding with you, you know, taking consideration with, you have to be very strong. This guy is not having nothing against you. It's just need to be recognized, status.
So Katy, Ivan also says, my favorite complaint from guests is when they complain about the weather, like we can order the sun. It's funny, yes.
Yeah. They complain because they want to be seen, even. It's very clear to everyone now who is the company. Before Facebook, I thought that was the church that was delivering the best product in the world. In my country, Catholic Church is the number one. But I thought that the church was delivering the best product because they were selling paradise. I mean, that's the best. Who can invent something better than this? Well, someone did. Guess who? Maslow. People want to be. Do you recognize this? People want to be liked. People want to be liked, my dear. Better than a huge amount of money. Recognize. Esteem, self-esteem. Any other question? Did I reply properly or? Sorry, I am very emotional about this. Daniela knows that I choose the way I communicate. My religion is a communication. I work on it every day, every second, you know. Sometimes I take it right, sometimes I take it wrong. But yes, this job, hospitality industry, we are not here to talk about it, this hospitality industry. So the module, but we finished. So, you know, it's the last wall of slavery. How may I help you? I'm here to serve you. This is in the language. Do you understand? The strong works of the language, of the words. I am a woman. I know what does words do. I'm here to reply to any your question if you have time, if you will, you know? Anyway, So now you know, no, you have a good idea of the final goal. And now you can go to the owners, those owners, to say, yeah, but what if? Or say to an owner, say, I took this guy that won 10 euro to work with me and I give him 8 euro. Well, but you have a social responsibilities. What if you think about, if you think that this guy is good, you pay this guy 10. You can do this because you know the meaning now as a mediator. Mediator is a very important role. Now you know something useful. Now you know things that make you a guide, a coach, a support, a mediator. From my experience, as I keep repeating, a lot of people working in hospitality industry do not know these things. You will meet stockholders, owners, that a father was a restaurants guy. He worked a month, a summer in the father restaurants, and they presume to be anything about it, everything about it. This is. So local can trust you when you talk to them. Remember that when you communicate to others, you have a human being in front of you, not an ugly guy. Remember. It's not an ugly guy that got something against you. It's a fragile guy that has something to feel inside himself. Feed the need. Being a mediator, be curious. First. Ask to young people, to old people, ask. I'm not asking, Mr. whatever stockholders, I'm just curious. I'm asking just to know your point of view. These words, these sentences, it may help you not to feel someone that do not know. I'm not asking you because I do not know. That may happen. But in front of some stakeholders, you can say, I'm asking to know your point of view. And above all, listen. Listen the words, listen the needs. Listen the human being. And ask again. Observe details. And please imagine, dream always. Old people teach young, not vice versa in my experience. To imagine, to dream your village. What do you want there? What kind of people, what kind of future people want to be in your village? Young, yes. Be brave, be courageous. I'm talking to women now, listening to us, Tina, Marianna, Matilda, Anita. Brave, courageous, sometimes it brings in our mind the alpha man way to be brave is. No, like a lion, a roar. Well, not. It's not just that. It's that, but it's not just that. Courageous that you have to have is that voice, that your voice that tell you when you go to sleep, try tomorrow, try again tomorrow. If today it was not the right day, try again tomorrow. He has to be very brave to listen to this. Your voice telling to you, you're good, try again tomorrow. And try again. Try and try again. As you can understand from these bullet points, I was clear in my mind how difficult it can be to talk to the shareholders, to talk to the general manager. It's tough. Life is not easy. Involve, be inclusive. Everybody can have something important to share. Have the aim, have the purpose, to have a vision. If you know a rude guest, as I say to my staff, is 1 over hundreds, think about the good one. If you know the very bad stakeholders and managers, try your best, but do not feel yourself failing because you're not able to talk to him or her. Don't get focused to that guy. Just have a purpose, have a vision. Start with small, with the aim to go bigger. And this is, need an example to make you understand. When I arrived in this hotel, the last hotel, when you work with chains, you are like a soldier, no? You change a lot, countries, hotels, you not just stay there forever. So when I arrived in this hotel, at the reception desk, we had a car park with a bar, one of those bars that you have to push a button to open when arrive a car that, or suppliers that want to make delivery, no? And that push the button of the bar, and then you have to open. And there's the button to open the bar was not where the receptionists were working. It was in another room. So imagine the receptionist on the phone taking a reservation, or dealing a problem with the guest in the room, or doing a check-in with the guest in front. The bell ring, sorry, just 1 moment, sorry, and go in another room. What if we spend a small amount of money, call an electrician and move the bottom from there while it's handy for you, so you can keep talking and press the button easily, and press the button, yeah? Few money and a lot of problems solved, and the quality of the welcome rise. You may say to some stakeholder, what if, and you may not, but you may find that guy that said to you, what a beautiful idea. Yes, of course, this is why, the welcome sometimes is not good. What about if, yeah, you know what? We can buy new cameras that look at the bar in the park, that can read the plates of the car, they recognize them of our supplier, and then open it automatically. And then also not only the video cameras, but we have to buy a software, a new computer to do all these tasks. Yeah, good idea. We have to do that. So let's try to understand which company do that. And probably a lot of money. No, probably a lot of money I can do that. What if we start from the bottom and we start to rise our welcome now, or in 2 days, the time the electrician need to do that? You may find people, sometimes I had this type of person in general manager, my boss, and also in my assistants, oh, good. What if, oh yes, good to have to aim to go bigger, but now what if we start with the small? Are you with me?
Yes, thank you, Katie. It's a good example.
Huh?
It was a good example of.
In Italy we say conosco I miei polli. I know my chicken. I'm talking to you, but I've been talking to many people in my life. What if we, yeah, but no, start from the small and that going bigger. Commit yourself.
Commit yourself.
Commit yourself as a mediator. If you dedicate 1 hour being a mediator or 8 hours, commit yourself. Be positive and proactive. What if? Oh yes, but what if? Again and again. Be positive. Be proactive. Get focused in the area you are doing your mediation that works, that will push, pull, or push, whatever, the others. And work like a surfer. Good wave, bad wave, try again tomorrow. You have a beautiful project. Enjoy. Three hours.
Thank you, Katy. Thank you very much. Admir says, thanks for the instructive story. Thank you, Admir. So I hope this was very useful for everyone. I know that time is going faster for every one of us. If someone has a particular question, please feel free to write. Also,
in the meantime, I thank you very much, everybody. It has been a beautiful experience being here with you. And the project, the Borghi Autentici project, Adrionet project is beautiful. It's not something that you see in many places. So you are starting with something new, you know, thinking about something new. And so you, as every starter, you will meet a lot of problems to solve that people in the future will find it solved already. So I thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Take care.
Okay, people say thank you, Katy, and so
thank you very much, Katy. And so I think that our next online session is on Friday. And Daniela, if I am right, we will focus on the submodule 4.1.
Yes, yes.
As the
yes, you're right. Yes,
as the training program, as you can find in the training program PDF. Yeah. And so, also from my part, thank you very much to all participants, and see you on Friday. And Katy, thank you very much once more for all the very interesting and I think inspiring considerations that you shared with us today. So have a nice day.
Thank you to all. Bye, Alberto. Bye to all.
Bye.
Thank you, Katy. Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you. Bye, Maya.
Bye, Maya. Bye, everybody. Bye.